Writing is where my soul meets the page. Long before I knew about healing, my soul was already writing its way toward it. Have you ever discovered something in your life that didn't just bring you comfort, but somehow saved you? My name is deJoly Labrier, and my lifelong relationship with writing began long before I realized it, before I knew anything about trauma and courage and resilience and healing. I knew what it felt like to put words on a page and feel something inside finally exhale. But let me take you back to the beginning, when a story reached out to me long before I had words for my own story. I was in 10th grade, sitting in a quiet corner of the library, one of those corners where it's dark enough that you feel safe to get away for a while. That was me. I wasn't there looking for inspiration. Not at all. I was actually looking for a place to escape the stress of being a teenager, the stress of wanting to fit in when I felt so alien, the pressure to be okay when I was definitely not okay, the pressure to know who I was and where I belonged. When you're a teenager, you feel the world feels enormous and you feel very small. I didn't know what I needed at that moment, but I remember telling myself if I improved my reading skills, I might survive college. I might survive life. So I pulled a biography from the shelf, one I vaguely was familiar with, Louis Braille. I thought I was just passing time, but actually, I was encountering the first great teacher of my life. As I flipped through the pages of his story, a child blinded at 3, having nothing to navigate the world with, something amazing happened. I felt seen. Isn't that interesting? A man I've never met, born at least a century before me, reaching out through the pages and saying, have courage, keep going, you matter. Later in life, I would learn the important clue in the Native American community that holds them together, their stories. I think that's when I really, truly understood how important our stories are. Louis Braille's courage lit something inside me. It left a seed of hope that I didn't have words to name at the time. Years passed and I moved into my roles, just like we all do: caretaker, competent one, the responsible one, the one who has it all together. But here's the truth no one prepares us for. You can be competent and completely lost. You can be adored and feel deeply lonely. You can be very strong, yet quietly breaking. Life stretches us thin through obligations and expectations and all the roles we never auditioned for, but somehow took on. And as we stretch, we forget. We forget who we were before the world told us who to be. We forget what we love. We forget what we need. Sometimes we even forget the sound of our own voice. For me, writing became the one place where the forgetting stopped. On the page, I didn't have to be impressive. I didn't have to be set, make sense. I didn't have to have it all together. Writing became a mirror, the truest one I owned. The page held the things I didn't know how to say out loud. It held the things I had abandoned in myself. It held my fears, my longings, my confusion, and my questions. And one night, One long, soul-filled night, I wrote the question that changed everything for me. What would my life look like if I stopped settling? It's funny how a sentence can feel like an earthquake sometimes, but my hands shook and my heart pounded, but I knew I could not unask that question. Maya Angelou once said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, yet we rarely admit the amount of changes it goes through in order to have that beauty." That was my night of change. I remembered my courage and I began to write. The page didn't judge me, it didn't rush me, and it didn't tell me I was wrong. It simply said, "I'm here. Tell me the truth." And the truth came, quietly at first, and then like a wave, huge, lots of truth. Writing didn't just help me understand my life, writing helped me regain it. Years later, I began helping other women write, not to become authors, but to become whole. I've watched women pick up the notebook as if it's just pages, only to rise, realizing that they found something that they thought they'd lost in their soul. Something magical happens when a woman writes the story she's never spoken. Her breathing changes, her posture shifts, her eyes clear. It's as if she's coming home to herself. I've watched women who have felt small finally see their own power. I've watched women who felt broken gain their resilience. Women who felt alone realize that they're deeply connected. And every single time, I remember that moment back in 10th grade, sitting in the library with that one story that I could save a life. Why stories matter? They heal us, they connect us, they guide us. And the most powerful ones are often the ones that we're afraid to tell, the ones that we say are too messy or too painful or too unfinished. But the unfinished ones are often the ones that have breath. They reach through the darkness and say, "You're not alone." Brene Brown says, "Owning your story is the most courageous thing you'll ever do." And I believe that with my whole heart. Because once you tell your story, you give others permission to tell theirs. A few years ago, a woman came up to me after I spoke at a conference. She said, "You don't know me, but what you shared at last year's conference helped me get through something I thought I would never survive." And right there in that busy like hallway with people walking by, I felt that 10th grade library moment all over again, realizing that that was Louis Braille speaking through her. It was hope making its full circle. His courage reached me. My courage reached her. And someday, her courage will reach someone else that she may never meet. That's the sacred circle of storytelling. So I want to leave you with this. Your story matters. It has weight and purpose. It has a pulse. It breathes. There's medicine in it. Someone is standing where you once stood, waiting for a sentence you haven't written yet, for a truth you haven't told yet, for a moment of courage that you hadn't shared yet. Take a quiet moment. Pick up a notebook. Ask yourself the question, what would my life look like if I stopped settling? Write whatever comes through your heart. Write what scares you. Write what frees you. Write what saves you. Louis Braille didn't know that his story would save my life, and I didn't know that my story might save someone else's life. The story that saved me began with someone else's courage, and the story that saved someone else might begin with yours. Thank you.